All right, Algebra. So today you're going to be working on the two or more numbers practice worksheet. It kind of stems from that algebraic equations review we just did and talked about yesterday. This kind of takes it a step further. So we're basically going to do two problems that you're not assigned to do on there. Okay, they're very similar to the rest of the problems, but if you look on the practice page, you'll notice you're not assigned 1 through 11. It just kind of skips. So the first one we're going to do is number 4. First thing, when you read the problem, figure out what the problem's asking for and what you're kind of given. Okay, it's going to ask for what the variables are, but it's also going to give you something you don't know. So in number 4, it says Juan delivered 1/4 as many pizzas as Greg. Together they delivered a total of 95 pizzas. How many did each deliver? So if we think about this, since we have two unknowns, Juan and Greg, that means we're going to have two equations. Okay, one of them is going to be some sort of total. Okay, it could be total cost, it could be total how much they did, and the other one's going to compare the two. Okay, so the total one would be how many pizzas they sold together. And if we look at it, it says that, or delivered, they delivered 95 pizzas together. So we can do something like G plus J, I'm using capitals just because they're kind of goofy letters. G plus J equals 95. Now, I told you this kind of relates to systems, okay? So you'll get used to this. And the other one is going to be just our other comparison equation where it says Juan delivered 1/4 as many of Greg's. So to figure that out, like if I delivered 4 pizzas and you delivered 1/4 of mine, you would do 1/4 times 4 and figure out you only delivered 1 pizza. So to figure out Juan's, it's really 1/4 times Greg. So it's J equals 1/4 G, okay? And that's our two equations. From here, you're never gonna have to do too much. There's like 1 or 2 problems in the unit where you're gonna have to do a lot of work to figure this out. But from here, it's telling us what J equals, which is some form of G. So we can take that and plug it in. So therefore we have 2 G variables rather than 2 different variables, okay? So I'm gonna get G plus 1/4 G equals 95. And then we're going to solve it from there. Okay, I put a 1 here just to give you kind of a hint. But 1 plus 1/4 is 1 1/4 or 5/4. So we have 5/4 G equals 95. Okay, and this is something we haven't talked about a lot, but to figure this out, we need to divide by 5/4 or multiply by the reciprocal. So we're going to multiply both sides by 4/5. These would cancel on the left. We would get G equals, okay, divide first and then multiply by 4. Okay, so when we divide this, we'll get 19 times 4. And then we multiply 19 times 4 and we get G equals 76. And we label it pizzas. Okay, so that's one of them. The other one, we simply take what we've found out and we plug it back in to one of these. It doesn't really matter which one, okay? So if I look at it, it should be pretty simple because if you plug it back into the bottom one, J equals 1/4 times that 76, well, you just did 19 times 4, so 76 divided by 4 has to be 19 pizzas. And that is our answers. Yes, it's a lot of work. That's why there's not a ton of these, okay, on the tests and whatnot. But 2 unknowns, which means 2 questions, you'll have 2 answers. Unless it only asks for 1, then that's fine. Okay, so if you need to, pause the video. Otherwise, we're going to move on to number 9. So, number 9. It says, Nelda's lunch cost $1.50 less than Juan's lunch. Together, their lunch bill cost $8. How much was Nelda's lunch and how much was Juan's lunch? Okay, so when I look at this, again, there's a total equation. Okay, the total is how much their lunches cost together. Okay, so we have Nelda, so I'm going to do N plus 1, so we have a W equals $8. Okay? And then you kind of need to break down the second part of that. It says that Nella's lunch cost $150 less than Wong's lunch, okay? So cost, that's like the same thing as is. So N cost, that means N equals. So N equals, it's $150 less than his. So that means you'd subtract $150 from his, not $150 minus W, but it's backwards. We talked about this when we talked about less than, okay? So it's his, how much ever his cost, minus the 150, which I'm just gonna put 1.5 down, okay? From here, we do the same steps we did in number 4 to solve it. I'm gonna take whatever I have for N equals, and I'm gonna plug it in for the other N. So I'll get W minus 1.5 plus W equals 8. Okay, combine your like terms, W plus W, we get 2W minus 1.5 equals 8. And then we just solve the equation from there. Okay, I'll add 1.5 to both sides. I get 2W, those would cancel, equals 9.5. Okay, now if you can't do this in your head and stuff like that, just do long division, but you gotta divide by 2. So we get W equals 475. You can put a little price tag on it, that's one answer. And then you plug that back in to figure out what N is. So N equals 475 minus 150. If it helps, you can add the 0 back. Okay, so then I get N equals 325 for her price. And that's our problem. Okay, again, pause if you need to. When you're watching this video, I did say we'll go over another problem. In there, I kind of realized a lot of people probably didn't have a lot of this done, so that's why I'm giving you an extra day, so use it wisely. And then we will be moving on to the next kind of part of things, just because I want to make sure you got that algebraic guided notes done. It seemed like you guys didn't, like I said. Okay, otherwise, have a good one, and I will see you next time.